Rubik's cubes and stuff. I don't know. Do you know how to do those? I've always been
Uh,
fascinated, but I'm terrible. I can't do it. And I've just been,
yeah, I would
you
love
know,
to know how to do it, but
no, it's tough. It's tough. But actually, here I want to try a little puzzle with you,
okay.
real quick. I've got it's sort of a, I guess, a perception puzzle, okay, and kind of a memory thing as well. I've got 5 cards here, all right? One, two, three, four, five. Notice that there's 5. That's the first thing to remember. The second thing to remember is that they're all blue back, right? One, two, three, four, five, blue back cards. The third thing to remember is that all of the cards are blank. There's no faces on the cards. One, two, three, four, five, blank faces, blue on the back, blank faces. Now, here's the question. Did you see me do the move?
In closing them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw me close them. Did you see me do the move where I added the ace of spades?
No.
Now, see, here's the ace. It's right there. That's the part that you might have missed. But if you missed that, then I think you certainly must have missed the fact that they all change into the full spades, full royal flush. But I think if you missed that, you might have also missed that all the cards are red. And I think if you missed that, you might have also missed that I solved the Rubik's Cube, which is kind of a fun thing. A lot better that way.
Wow. Okay. So now where do we go from there? Okay. So this was me last year. I was just sitting there in your show, kind of mind spinning the whole time. So talk to me a little bit about quarantining. So where are you? Let's start there. Where have you been?
Midtown, New York.
Midtown, New York.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty bleak. It's gotten better though. The first few weeks of this were, walking outside. It was like, whoa, ghost town. Really, really kind of shocking.
Yeah.
But it's got, there's definitely more people out walking around. People are being generally pretty safe with the masks and everything. So it's slowly, picking up. The weather's getting nicer.
Okay. And how long have you been in New York City?
For the entirety or just for during this quarantine?
No, like in your life.
Oh, I've been in New York. I've been in New York for about 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer now, actually. I first moved to Brooklyn, and then moved all around Brooklyn, and eventually moved to Manhattan. I've been in Manhattan not that long. I've only been here for a little over a year. I was in Williamsburg for the longest time.
Got it.
And I love it there. I miss it.
Yeah. And when was your last in-person show?
Last in-person show was at the end of February.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. We happen to we've never taken more than one weekend off, right? But before this whole thing, without the knowledge of this whole thing, we had scheduled a 2-week break. So we were dark for two weeks. And, right when we first had started to cancel shows, I was like really upset because I would have liked to have done those 2 weeks of shows instead of taking off. But in retrospect, it was kind of good because we had taken those 2 weeks off. I think in those 2 weeks is when I would have been shaking everybody's hands, and we all would have been in this really teeny room together. So I think it was probably actually the safest thing that we did that.
Got it. So you kind of mentioned it in the beginning that obviously in-person shows have completely stopped. You're doing virtual shows, or are you doing any virtual shows?
Yeah, I'm doing. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, actually. I mean, it's completely different. We're working with a much kind of smaller screen, people have a lot less to see. But it's also fun because everything sort of seems a little bit more impossible because we're doing it from such a great distance.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've been doing a few of them, and they've been a lot of fun.
Okay. And what do you think it looks like? I'm hearing that New York City might be opening phase 1 June 8th, and then 2 weeks after that. What are you hearing from your end of it, like in terms of live performance? And have you heard any details?
I haven't heard that many details. Official details. In my mind, I think that I'm hoping that by September we might be back to doing shows. I know that shows themselves are kind of the last thing on the list, especially because of the fact that it's everyone's in such close proximity, and there's a lot of kind of hands-on stuff going on. So I'm hoping for September, but I think that all depends really on how everything goes, with the reopening of other things. So my fingers are crossed for September. I'm hopeful.
And are you trying to like evolve the performance? I know like there was a whole meet and greet aspect to it the night we went. What kind of changes do you think you guys are going to be forced to make? Yeah,
we've had to rethink a lot. There's a lot of things in the show where I get, really close to people, and there's a lot of hands-on sort of interaction. I would hope that eventually it would be able to get back to that level of interaction. But in the meantime, I've definitely thought about kind of pivoting and reworking those aspects of the show.
Yep. And what about just like the audience in general? Because this is something, impacts you. It impacts Lincoln Center, Broadway, with audiences and closed seating. So, obviously, in order for you to profit, you need to fill a room.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky in that our seats aren't affixed to the ground, and we can change the general layout of the room. But I think with that also, we'd have to, we're trying to change the show to make that, still make sense, and still kind of playing with the fact that we have a little bit more room now. But we're working on it, and, hopefully we can get back to the way it. Phone call.
Oh, still there. And what are your fans saying? I know, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely gotten a lot of emails like, "Hey, we miss you. We really want to, see the show." It's funny. Even a couple of weeks ago, someone reached out and was like, "Hey, just please let us know when the tickets go back on sale, because it took us so long to get the tickets for the last time we tried to go." So I think people will still be there when we come through this. I hope they will. I mean, I think generally everybody still enjoys seeing magic, even through this medium.
Absolutely. So
hi, Maya. I love you too, miss.
Oh, can you see the comments?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So quarantining. We're 10 weeks into this, or 11 weeks, whatever week we're on of this.
I'm not even counting anymore.
Yeah. Have you picked up any new hobbies or?
Well, the Rubik's Cube.
The Rubik's Cube. That's
still not very good at. I've been working just a lot of magic. I've been working on this virtual show. So I think it could be, it's coming along, and that's been keeping me busy.
Yeah. Now, would you do, have you thought about doing like private shows on Zoom or?
Yeah, no, and I've done a few of them. But I think the real interesting part for me is coming up with a really different virtual show that people could, come and get tickets to and experience in their own home.
Yep. Great. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about home, because I know you and I have asked, you've talked about, the space in your apartment, and you've obviously been in it for, a couple months now. Any changes, anything about the home that, living in Midtown Manhattan that you didn't realize or now has become important to you?
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we moved, because we had moved, 6-7 months before this whole thing. And it was, we kind of got a little bit more space, and it's like, you really value space being in Manhattan, because the biggest thing that I miss right now that I wish I could have was like a backyard, right?
Okay.
I've got a toddler, and, coming up with creative ways to keep her exercised and entertained is difficult when you don't have that outdoor option.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the biggest thing that I wish I could have. As far as like changes to the apartment, I've turned my office into like a virtual studio. So I've got like it's a little hard to do over Instagram Live, but there's a lot of kind of updates that I've made as far as cameras and lighting and rigs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So is that where you would do are you doing, I assume you're doing like the virtual performances?
Yeah, but I think eventually we'll upgrade the space for the actual full show.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in New York City. I know you mentioned a lot of your friends have,
All of
left,
my friends.
or all of your
Not
friends.
all of them. Not all of them. A lot of them. Quite a
A
few.
lot of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because I'm just kind of curious to hear people's thoughts. Where are they? Like, where have they been going? You think they're going for the summer? What do you think the thoughts are?
I mean, it was pretty much immediately when this whole thing started. A lot of my friends either went upstate or down south,
Okay.
or to their families' places, or kind of just spread out.
Hmm.
And I was the one that hunkered down here.
Yeah. No, and I mean, something I think about, like with New York City, what's so special about New York City is all that we have going on, from the great restaurants to the theaters to the concerts to, going to some of the best bars and brunches. And do you feel like you guys are the reason everyone wants to come back to New York City, the performances? So, how do you like take on that responsibility? I think because we all pay high rents and mortgages to live in New York, and everything's expensive, but obviously it's the best of the best. But we're there because of like the performances.
Yeah, I mean, it's what makes New York New York, right? All the restaurants and I think that I'm going to be like just as soon as this whole thing's over, like rushing to get back to doing this stuff, and I think everybody will be. What kind of saddens me are the people who aren't able to like get through this hump and this break. I think we're going to lose a lot, and I'm just hoping that what remains is really is strong and people support those sort of artistic endeavors, and I think they will eventually.
Yeah.
I think New Yorkers are really good at getting back and pushing, and also just kind of in a good way forgetting the bad and pushing towards the good.
Yep.
So I think we'll do all right. I'm optimistic for sure.
And other than magic, what are you looking forward to? Once the ban is lifted and you can go out into New York City.
Restaurants, 100%. Just going to sit down in a restaurant. It's funny, of all the things, like my toddler, she's 2 years old, has said, she's like, can we go to a restaurant? Like those are the thing. That's the thing. It's not like can we go play or whatever. She just wants to go to a restaurant. So I've raised a New York child.
Yeah. And someone's asking, is there anything that people can do to support performances? Obviously, come when you guys are back on, but until then, is there anything?
I think for the people who are doing the virtual stuff, I mean, look them up. There are different virtual things to take part in. I think I would do those. I know there's some other charities for restaurants, stuff like that, but I don't know what's going on really with all of the other performers. But I think just follow them and keep track of what they're doing, because I think a lot of them are pivoting and figuring out other ways to make a living, and just I guess whatever creative way that they're doing that, support it if you can.
Yeah.
And just supporting it just by even just following them on their social media, I think helps, and paying attention to them, and giving them encouragement to know that what they're doing you actually like or not.
I could watch it all the time. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so
You want to try something else?
Yeah, let's do another trick.
Do you have a deck of cards there?
I
do, right? You said that I asked you to grab a deck, yeah?
Okay.
Pull it out of the box. Just hold on to the deck. Hold them up just so we can see them. Good, great. Here's the thing. I want you to hold the cards just tight. Okay. Great. And I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And I want you to think of a playing card.
Okay.
You got that card in your head?
I do, yeah.
Good. Okay. Strong. You can see it clearly. It's not an obvious one, yeah?
Yep.
Great. I want you to open your eyes.
Okay.
Great. And I want you to spread the cards one at a time like this. Don't do it yet, but just one at a time from the top. Just go through the cards just like this. Now, as you do that, you're going to see your cards in your screen as well. When you see your card, don't say anything, but I want you to think, that's my card.
Okay.
All right, so go through slowly just like this. Again, don't say anything. Just think that's my card. Good. You can go a little faster.
Okay, speed it up, Tim. Okay.
Good. 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 Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Square up the cards.
Okay.
Good. And we're gonna play a little lie detector test. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully I can figure out your card just through that. You're thinking of one card right now, but we're gonna play something different. I want you to imagine that you have an invisible coin. Right, an invisible coin, and I want you to imagine placing it on one of your two hands, okay, out of screen, but placing that coin in one of your two hands, and I'm going to try to figure out which one it is, trying to figure out your tells, okay? So imagine that invisible coin is in one of your hands. Now, again, there's not an actual coin in your hand. There's no physical way I can know which coin that is, but only in your mind, that's where it exists, yeah? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions right now, but before I do that, I need you to decide in your mind if you're going to be a liar or a truth teller. So in your mind, don't tell me. Just think, I'm going to be a liar or a truth teller.
Okay.
Okay, and whatever one you choose, from now on, you have to always lie or tell the truth. If you decide to be a liar, every question I answer, you're going to lie to. If you decide to be a truth teller, every question I ask you, you're going to tell the truth to.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Here we go. Look at me. So decide liar, truth teller, everything. Good. Here we go. Yes or no, your card's a black card.
Yes.
Good. Yes or no, the coin's in your right hand.
Yes.
Good. Do you prefer puppies or kittens?
Puppies.
Interesting. That one was the tell. Are you lying?
I'm not lying.
You're telling the truth?
I'm telling the truth.
Your card's a black card?
Yes.
What was the card?
I should tell you?
Yeah.
The 4 of clubs.
The 4 of clubs. And you could have thought of anything, right? Did one card pop into your head before? A different card?
Before, yeah.
Or you had a different card in your head too?
Earlier.
Okay. That card was a red card, yeah?
Yes.
It was a heart?
It was.
The 3 of hearts?
It was.
But you thought of a different one though. You thought of a different one. Look, I've had this envelope sitting here the entire time. What did you say your card was that you picked?
The 4 of clubs.
4 of clubs. This envelope's been here the entire time. You could have thought of any card. Let me check this out. Here, let's try one more.
Okay.
Let's try one more. This is a fun one. I've got some dollar bills right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single dollars. You can see the front and the back. I'm actually going to teach you how to do this. It's kind of cool, right?
Okay.
If you take $5 bills, right?
Yep.
Stack them up real neat onto each other. You can make them look like more money, right? You just give a snap. Like watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? But there's really like only 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The way to do that, right, is on the third bill, you just pretend to move it back and forth. So like this, 1, 2, 3, and you just miscount, right? And it looks like you've got however many you want. You keep doing that, right? But there's really only 5. The other way to make money look like it's more is if you fold it in half, just like that. It's thicker. You can't tell how many there are. But one more way, if you take the bills, right, and you just give them a shake, just like that, what happens is they turn into hundreds, and it's much better way of doing it. The neat thing though is if you take one of those hundreds, right, and you hold it just like that and you give it a shake,
Yeah.
right? It turns into a credit card, and that's, I guess, much more of a modern way of doing things.
That's pretty good. All right, do we have one more, and then we'll...
Yeah, let's try one more. Let's try one more. Here.
People want to do that trick to their bank account.
Yeah, right.
What do you think about cash going forward? Talking about that trick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the trick is right. I think it's we're definitely going towards a more digital form, especially with the physicalness of the actual bill and the cleanliness of those things. Mm-hmm. Here I have a deck of cards. I just turned one card face down.
Okay.
In the deck, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to give it a shot. I want you to think of another card.
Okay.
Say it. Say the card.
Oh, say it?
Yeah.
The 6 of spades.
6 of spades. Any reason why you picked that?
No.
Look, inside this deck, it's been sitting in here in front of you the entire time. I'm going to go through. I put one card face down. Somewhere right there. Look. All the other cards are face up. You could have said any card whatsoever. What was the card you said?
The 6 of spades.
6 of spades. It's kind of...
My mom just joined.
Hey, Mom.
All right. Well, this is great. I really appreciate it.
How have you found I mean, are you just on your end of things, being in real estate, have you seen a lot of moving? I mean, I know from the research I've done, it seems like a lot of people are buying.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're definitely seeing people, that are relocating. I think it's still to be determined if these are permanent relocations, and obviously these relocations have happened after different periods in history, 9/11, 2008, etc. So, what we don't know is if these are temporary relocations just until things clear up in the city, if people will stay, in the suburbs. I think the suburb markets are definitely seeing a boom right now.
Yeah.
And, I think that's leading people to the question, like, what does that do to New York City? But I think in reality, New York City is New York City. And, you are exhibit A of why, people want to be in New York City, because you don't get that in other places. You don't get Broadway. You don't get the top restaurants. So I think, will we see a change in who lives in New York City? I think so. But I do think the market will, recover and be strong. I just think we might see an evolution. I think families are rethinking, as you said, like, it's really nice to have space.
Yeah.
When you have a 2-year-old, and it's kind of hard to have space in Midtown East.
Right.
So whether you're putting the emphasis on having a bigger apartment in a different neighborhood or moving out to the suburbs, but I think as people move out, other people are going to move in, and I think neighborhoods will evolve. And I think it's going to take time. I really do. I mean, I'm hearing the same thing as you. I think a lot of people have, relocated, but almost everyone that's relocated keeps saying, like, they can't wait to get back.
Yeah, I mean, I think also it's the perfect storm because it's summer. It's just it's another reason to want to relocate. I think if it were winter, it might be a little bit different, but.
Exactly.
I'm just curious to see how many people are going to come back, exactly. What it's going to do to the New York City.
People want to get out to the lakes and the beaches and, do the summer activities, but I think the fall is going to be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And I also think the economy is the next question. I mean, mortgage rates are at a historical low, so that's a great opportunity to buy. If all these people are selling, then the buying market is, opportunistic for people. So yeah. That's a story. I think the true answer is that we've got to, wait a couple weeks and months to figure it out. And I think time will tell.
Yeah.
Right now we're kind of on a hold period. Real estate agents haven't been allowed to show. So we're in phase 2. So once phase 2 hits, I think that's when we'll start to really see.
Right. I mean, also, do you think sellers are hesitant to sell because of they don't want people in their houses and things like that?
Exactly. I mean, do you want me hosting an open house in your apartment on a Sunday? Right. I mean, that's a question, or do we do is every appointment scheduled and we space people coming out? Like our business is going to have to evolve just as everyone's business.
Yeah.
And I think that's all, and do buildings want people tracing through the elevator, all the public coming in for an open house?
Right.
I think there's definitely, we're all going to have to evolve and change. And we've been doing a lot of virtual showings, and it's amazing what you can see of an apartment, on a virtual showing and a video. And you can, I truly believe you have to go and walk and feel and touch.
Yeah. I think it's also like, just from looking at houses myself, it's like, I can't stand when they don't have like the floor plan, or they don't have, like a virtual tour where you can really see everything. It's like, just pictures aren't doing enough.
Totally.
These
floor
days.
plan, pictures, videos, 3D tours, and then even if a broker can do like a Zoom with you and take you around.
Yeah.
You really
you don't know if you can be serious about it until you see all those things.
Correct. But, I don't know. I mean, people used to go and see 20, 25 apartments. And
Right. But that doesn't seem like, at least right now, a possibility.
Maybe you see 3. Maybe you see your final 3.
Yeah.
You walk the hall, and walk and touch the final 3, but you can do all the other stuff at home with your, with your agent and stuff. So, yeah, I definitely think, as I keep saying, I think anyone that's willing to like evolve and adapt, I think they're going to do really well. And I think that goes for every industry. So.